guys, when they receive items, are the one who's supposed to deliver now into
the stores? Yes.
Alright, okay.
So they must pull the data from the store and see, okay, this is what's required, and send it.
Okay, so meaning they have to find out to say, maybe at a specific store, or explain like this, maybe at a specific store, maybe those items that move fast, they will not say, okay, these are the items that move fast, these are the items you have to send to the specific store.
Yeah, and not, okay, move fast, yes, or that have run out,
Okay.
or that's about to run out, or
Alright.
so based on what we call rate of sale. I don't know if you know what rate of sale is.
No.
Like how many is being sold in a week,
Oh, okay.
right? So that based on that, they can see like how many weeks of stock they have left,
Alright.
which we're going to now. Which again, I don't think you're aware of this, right? Of rate of sale and weeks of stock.
No.
Okay, so based on the rate of sale and the weeks of stock, they can like see, okay, this place is busy running out, so let me send those items to them immediately. But generally what most people use is they'll set a hard minimum themselves.
Oh, okay.
Okay, they'll say like, okay, this is the minimum level I expect at this store.
Okay. So meaning the same minimum, right, is set to a store or at a particular item?
At the store, each item will be set to a minimum level.
Oh, okay.
At the store, each item will be set, and at the head from head office.
Okay.
Yes, because in essence, that store sees head office as its only supplier.
Okay.
So the same process is applied that the head office uses to a supplier, the store is to the head office. Okay, but now imagine if your suppliers could access your system and see your stock level, and automatically they know that when it reaches this level, they need to send you stock. That's basically what the head office does with the stores.
Okay.
It's like a supplier who can see your sales and see, okay, damn, you need this, so they'll be sending to you before you even notice.
Okay, yeah. So you just receive to say, no, you've received these items.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, you'll just be accepting a transfer coming in.
Alright.
Okay. So now this slide we're going to go particularly into Lyt-Soft specifically, how the reordering process works.
Okay.
Okay. So I think generally you should understand what a GRV is, right? You've done GRVs.
Yes.
But maybe you don't understand the purpose of POs,
Yes.
like, and how a PO goes into a GRV. So I just want to explain that entire flow to you, like how the decision should be made to order a product. If the customer is somebody that wants to be managing his stock correctly, okay? So yes, you get the wholesalers and stuff that they do it their own way, they don't care how the system works. But generally a franchise, right, would want this flow that we're going to discuss now. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is like at the warehouse, right, we need to set up the minimum stock levels for all the consumables. So what does that mean? If it's an item that's being made, okay, the minimum stock level is not going to do anything for you. Okay? Because you're not ordering that from a supplier. Okay? So we need to put the minimum stock level on the raw products or the things that we are actually selling. If we're buying a Coca-Cola and selling it, yes, then we can put minimum stock level on Coca-Cola. But we have to put it on the size that we're receiving from the supplier, not on, let's say we're receiving cases and singles, right?
Yes.
And we are using cases and singles in the system correctly. Do you know how to do cases and singles?
Yeah, basically linking them.
Yeah, linking them, right? So if we're receiving cases and we are sending singles, then we would put our minimum stock level on cases, not on singles. Because otherwise, that single is going to go below its minimum level every single time before it opens a new case.
Okay.
Right? So we want to have the minimum level on the item that we're actually ordering.
Okay. So meaning the minimum stock quantity in short should be set to the actual, let me say a case in short.
The product that you order from the supplier.
Okay.
Or from a store level, the thing that gets sent to you from head office. So let's say for example Gigi Bonta, right?
Okay.
There's no point on putting minimum stock level on a cappuccino. Okay? Because it's not that reduces, it's the milk and the coffee.
Okay.
So you need to put your minimum stock level on the milk and on the coffee,
Okay.
not on the cappuccino.
Alright.
You understand? It's not that the hamburger is gonna run out, it's the patty and the bread that runs out.
Okay.
So that's where we put our minimum stock levels, not on the finished goods.
Okay.
Or on something that is not from a supplier or from head office. Okay.
Okay.
So think about it when you're doing your minimum levels. The question that you need to ask the customer is, what are you receiving?
Okay.
That is where the minimum stock level goes. Okay. So I'll go a bit more, maybe not today, but in general with the text. Now that I'm doing a lot of training with you guys, I'll explain to you the different ways that in which units you can keep stock. So some people keep the stock in weight, in units, in different ways, okay?
Yes.
But regardless of that, you need to ask yourself, when they're doing a GRV, what product are they GRVing? That is the product that needs to be having the minimum stock level. Okay?
Yes.
The one that are increasing the stock level on. Because we want to know when it's down that we need to order it again. Okay?
Yes.
So, under the special settings on an item, you'll find this minimum and ideal stock level.
Yes.
You've seen that before?
Yes.
So what this means is this is the trigger. So when it goes below this, it will trigger it will go into the below minimum report, which is found on the dashboard.
Okay.
Which I'll go on the next slide, I'll show you where it's found, okay?
Alright.
And then you need to set the ideal level. So what that's going to do, let's say this is the minimum stock is 10 and the ideal level is 20, okay? So when stock goes to 10, it's going to show up on that report,
Okay.
okay?
Yes.
If the ideal level is 20, it's going to tell you to order 10 because it wants to get to the ideal level.
Okay.
Okay, so it will give you a recommended order quantity.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yes, I understand.
So that's what this minimum and ideal stock quantity.
Ideal, mostly like setting ideal quantity should be more than the minimum, right?
Yes, it should be like what is the quantity that you would want to start the day with or the week with. It depends. It depends, like let's say at the head office, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ideal quantity will maybe you'll ask them something like how often do you order from the supplier?
Okay.
Okay, no, we only can order once a month.
Okay.
So then you need to ask them how much do you need to start the month with.
Okay.
You understand? Because that supply is only coming in a month again. Or take for example us, right? This Chrilan. Our ideal level is based on like a 2.5 month thing because we get our stock from China. So it takes 2.5 months to arrive. So when I look at the all-in-one levels, right, I don't look at like what is the level we need for tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay? I look at what is the level that we're going to need to sustain us for 2.5 months until we order again.
Okay.
Okay. Then the same thing with minimum stock. At what point do I need to order?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So when we're reaching 15 all-in-one shit, okay, it's time again to order for that.
Okay.
Let's say to get us to 3 months again.
Okay.
So then I'll go and look at stuff like, so you have this ideal stock level, yes, but generally like if it's a higher level decision that's being made, like for us who does long-term orders, or maybe for Gigi Bonta when they're doing the Italian orders, right, they'll be looking at more like what is the rate of sale of ice cream,
Okay.
how many are we selling a week, okay, and how long do I need stock, so they'll already know, generally they'll know what this figure should be. Okay, at a store level, it's just about how much do I need every morning to, because they're distributing every day to the stores,
Yes.
right? So the question here at the store level would be, how many do you want to start with the day with?
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
and then at what point should we be sending you more stock again?
Okay.
Okay, so but generally you can guide the customer on this, but they should already have an idea what they want these two levels to be. Okay, so it's not really something for you to calculate.
Okay.
That's there, yeah, you just need to explain to them what it's for, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not you to set it per se. Okay, so it triggers the minimum stock level alert when stock falls below the minimum level, okay? it generates a requisition report. So the reason I'm leaving this word requisition in there is just because I feel like oftentimes we get confused by other people's language. Okay? Because our system uses basic words, and then when somebody uses a corporate word, then we get confused. So all the requisition report is the below minimum item report. Okay? So this is on the dashboard in Lyt-Soft, it's there.
Yes, I've seen
You've seen it,
yes.
right? So that's the report they're talking about. So head office reviews and approves the requisition before proceeding. So this is generally something they'll handle internally. But what that talks about is they'll be having, when that below minimum report comes in from head office, they'll be saying, probably have a discussion internally to say, this item doesn't move fast enough, we discontinue it, okay? Then they'll create POs. So they'll decide what they're going to reorder, and then they're going to start creating purchase orders. So what is a purchase order? Okay, not to be confused with an LPO. Okay, LPO is something to do with taxes at the sales level, which even though it says local purchase order, it's got nothing to do with a purchase order. Zero, anything, okay? Were you here for the VAT training?
Yes.
You were here for the VAT training. Remember, that is something that 0A gives.
Yes, yes.
Right. So purchase orders is not that. So we as Lyt-Soft use purchase orders a lot. As Chrilan, I mean, we use purchase orders quite a lot. So when a customer orders products from us, right? And if anything's out of stock and we need to purchase it locally, Grace generates a PO. So for us, we do it per invoice, right? So she'll generate a PO to say like this invoice requires this stock. Okay? It then sits in a pending state where either me or Louise or Chulufia needs to approve it. Okay.
Yeah.
Once it's approved only, the supplier has been warned. You don't bring things if it's not an approved PO. If you bring things that's not approved, I'm not paying you. So they'll be checking on the PO whether it's saying pending or approved. Okay. So once it's approved, they know they can deliver. If they're going to bring us something that's not approved, we are not paying for it. Okay. So generally, everybody works that way because otherwise, you can just create an unapproved PO and get stock and do whatever you want. Okay. So also on your POs, you'll be putting an expected delivery date, right? So that just helps them track when that stock will be in. Okay. So that's what they mean. Orders are tracked for timely replenishment. So have you guys used the PO screen before at all? The purchase order screen?
Yes.
So you'll find, you've seen it, but you've not used it.
I've used it once.
So you'll find that over here you get your approved or unapproved, right?
Yes.
So if it's unapproved, it will, let's actually switch to Lyt-Soft and we can actually do that quickly. So when we go into purchase orders, okay, here's all the things that hasn't been approved yet, will come up immediately here. So creating a PO is very similar to creating a GRV, because they kind of go hand in hand.
Yes.
Okay, generally. So when we do create a PO, we select our supplier. I don't know what's any supplier names here. Bulk store, submit. Okay. You can type the product name. So let's say Aloha. Okay. How many units you're receiving? What's the unit cost? Whatever, and then what you plan on selling it for. Okay. Add it, and then you'll add next product, next product, next product. Okay. Yeah. You can also add expenses to your PO. This is if maybe there's transport costs. Like for us, as again as Chrilan, when we receive Chinese stock, there's a lot of other expenses apart from the purchase. The purchase forms maybe 50% of the total price. The rest is logistic costs, like traveling, exchange rate, getting the money out. There's a lot of other expenses that needs to be calculated into the product, right? So that's why we use this other expenses button here. Okay. So then generally they'll have their own purchase order reference system. For us, because we're doing it per invoice, which is not normal for the industry. for the industry, we don't deal with Chrilan type of customers. Do you understand? We deal most with retail.
Okay.
Okay? So mostly retail won't be waiting for an order to make an order.
Okay.
Right? So they'll have another reference number here that they'll put for to give them an idea on what that PO is for. Okay? So this is just a reference for them. So another good thing is they can like maybe mention a few of the products in there, because this is the thing that will show on the table, okay, before they open it. Otherwise, if they put a silly reference here, they won't know what's in the PO until they open it.
Okay.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So here we'll maybe say Aloha, just as an example, so that we know, okay, this was the time we ordered Aloha. And when are we expecting it to be delivered? Like maybe Friday next week, okay? Then we finalize the purchase order. Okay, but at this point, if we print it, we're going to say it as a approved or false. It won't be approved. Where is it? Sorry.
Down the reference.
Where is that?
Yeah, down.
Aloha, yeah, but there's also a place where I'm not approved. We're missing it. Okay, so this will change to approved once it's been approved. Okay, so you'll tell, generally you need to show this to the customer to tell them like, okay, if you're seeing not approved, right, tell your suppliers if it's not approved that you haven't approved it. Okay. Okay, so that's generally how the, let me just quickly go back to Lyt-Soft. Now once it is approved, so there's securities on this, on allowing people to be setting approved, not approved. Okay? So once it is approved, then it disappears from here. So to see it, you need to click there and refresh, then it will bring the approved orders. Okay. Once it is approved, you can then convert it into a GRV. Okay. But you see why it is important to write the proper reference, because like this, we won't know what's in here until we now click here and click print. Okay, you can also send it directly to the supplier via email. Okay, from the system, send an email to the supplier that we've ordered this. Okay, and then also edit it if you need to. So once it's done, then you convert this PO into a GRV. Okay. The slide. Okay, so the PO gets converted into a GRV. So this is that screen you just saw where all your purchase orders are, and you click view more and you convert to a GRV. Okay, so only once you've GRV'd and you finalize the GRV does the stock update. You're aware of that, right? Are you aware of that? Yeah, at that point the stock updates, okay? Yeah, okay, ensures also the accuracy of the stock records and financial tracking. So it will also show that you owe the supplier that money now. When you finalize the GRV, it also tells the system that you owe the supplier that money. Okay? So generally how it works, for example, let's take us as an example again. When we do our PO, we already pay. So then it shows the supplier owes us. When we do the GRV, it balances. Because we pay on a PO already. So then at that point the supplier is owing us. So when the stock arrives, it goes back to zero. Okay. So but most of the retail customers, they'll be receiving and pay at the end of the month. Okay. Is that the end of the slide? Yeah, I think so. Okay. So that's the general process of how to be managing, and this is not unique to franchises. Okay. Everybody should be following something like that, where you get your minimum stock level, okay? You then decide what you're going to order based off of that report, okay? Once you've done the order, you do a PO, send it to the supplier. Once the stock arrives, you GRV it. Okay, then your stock is into the system. So now, next we're going to go into the sending the stock